This man, shouts out to Dricus du Plessis and everything. But one of the funniest things when it comes to a Sean Strickland fight is all week he gets us all to just forget his last 17 fights and just makes us buy in with the whole badass attitude he's got. And, to the death, man. Let's go to war. Let's fight like men. And then he goes out there and fights for 25 minutes with nothing but jabs and teeps and just fainting the entire night and just getting his ass beat the entire night. Just makes you so frustrating watching him, man. So shouts out to Dricus du Plessis getting the job done. I've been pretty vocal about UFC 312. When it comes to the card on paper, this is probably the first fight in forever since 2007, 2008 that I almost skipped just because I didn't really care for watching it. And thank God I did watch it, because shouts out to this woman, Zhang Weili. She should be the first person anybody should be talking about after this fight, unless you do want to talk about the whole Dricus thing. But Zhang Weili to come in here as an underdog. First and foremost, can we ban Vegas from making these guys that are coming in, and women, it doesn't matter which one, but their first time fighting for a title, their first time fighting anybody of a worthy name, any champion that's ever actually been pushed before. And we got the champion in Zhang Weili, who's been through how many wars, been through the gutter, and we're going to put her as the underdog? I mean, I'm happy for it. You're making me money. But my goodness, man, I knew it. I mean, I kind of expected Tatiana Suarez to have a better first two rounds, if I'm being honest. Came out with a decent first round, I guess, for herself. But, I did expect her maybe to get one little scary submission in there. But all in all, man, she has never seen that fourth, fifth round, and even a third round with a champion like that at a pace with that much on the line. So I kind of had a feeling Zhang Weili would run away with it. Like I said, she maybe have won me some money if we're talking about a decision at plus 350. Like, come on now, girl. Come on now. Make me that money. But when it comes at 115, what else is left for her? I mean, I know you could probably go out there and beat the Joanna defense record. You can go out there and maybe stamp your name as one of the most, probably the most impressive champions of all time outside of Amanda Nunes. But sadly, we can never see them fight because it just size differences are too much. But the next fight I do want to see is the Valentina fight. That's the next fight. That's the only one I want to see. I've been calling for that fight for a while now, and I get it. I know Zhang Weili did look amazing tonight, and I know her last fight against Yan Xiaonan, I know that was a tough fight. I know she looked pretty human for once, but all in all, she gets the job done. And if it's not that rematch, it's got to be something at 125 for her. It's got to be Valentina. It's got to be Alexa Grasso. Those are the only people I want to see. And as great as she looked tonight and as dominant as she looked tonight, it kind of made me just realize how crazy good that lady Rose Namajunas was to beat her twice. Like, how good is Rose? I know she goes on and does her thing, and she kind of lost her love for the sport, and she's not nearly as high level as what Zhang Weili is now. But at that time, for Thug Rose to go out there and not only knock her out the first time, but then to beat her in a 5-round war, I mean, my goodness, shouts out to the lady. So shouts out to Zhang Weili for making this night worth it. But of course, after this Dricus and Sean Strickland fight, not so Dricus. You can't blame Dricus. He looked amazing tonight. He honestly shows that if you're going to have anybody fight Hamzat, Cal Borrelio, Nasruddin Imavov, or even Alex Pereira, you're going to want this man Dricus du Plessis, because one, we already saw Sean Strickland get knocked out by Alex Pereira. So and he was in his corner. So that's never even going to probably happen again. They seem buddy. It's not going to bring Alex Pereira back to 185 or even give Sean Strickland a chance at 205. So on paper for the UFC, it made more sense for Dricus to win, but I also wanted him to win too, because the stakes are high, because he just beat Izzy, and I know Sean did, but if you watched him tonight, man, you would be shocked that guy was the champion and that he beat Israel Adesanya before. Like, all in all, shouts out to Dricus, and this man, I think he does, again, to go into my point, I think he does kind of threaten more of or pose a bigger threat to this man, Hamzat Chimaev, when it comes to that next fight, or even an Alex Pereira fight, if he can run through Hamzat, run through Nasruddin Imavov, go through somebody like Cal Borrelio. But this is cool at 185. I was sitting there watching it tonight, and I was like, man, this is one of the first times I can truly sit here and say that it's officially moved on. I'm so used to the Anderson Silva days, going into the Israel Adesanya days, where you just got one guy just running it. And, I know Robert Whitaker, my boy, was in there for a little bit. But it just seems like it's always been the same class for so long. And so it's really nice to see these next group of young bloods come up and get a chance. Like I said, the Cal Borrelios, these guys are killers. Nazaruddin Imavov, killers. Hamza Chimaev, killers. So it is really cool to see this 185 class go up. And I'm excited to see Dricus du Plessis, see what he could do with it. And I know he had a little something with Alex Pereira here. So I'm excited all in all. If you're Dricus du Plessis tonight, one thing is for sure, you got everything in the palm of your hands. But when it comes to Sean Strickland, like I said, man, it's just so funny seeing him hype people up and just goes out there and just, jabs and teeps all night. And it's going to be tough for him because he's already been gatekeeper for how long now? This man's been proving everybody wrong, like Nazaruddin Imavov, and all go on for days about guys he's already beat, like we just witnessed with Paulo Costa. I mean, he's been doing it for so long now. It's going to be fun to see what's next. I wouldn't be mad at a Robert Whitaker fight. That one's like one of the only ones that we haven't seen somehow with all these matchups, and I'm excited to see because I don't want to see Marvin Vettori anymore. I'm not trying to be mean to any of these guys, but Roman Dolidze, I just don't. It doesn't get me going anymore. I don't care about any of these guys except my boy Jared Cannonier. I still love him, but we all know what we saw last year. He's just not the man anymore, and none of these guys are. Is he? Everybody's just gone now. So shouts out to 185. Shouts out to Zhang Weili. The one question I have to ask about when it comes to every single fight card, and of course UFC 312 is no different. Why do we always got to get just forced down our throats? We always got to get some heavyweight bout. I know, don't get me wrong. I know Teixeira got a nasty knockout against Justin Tafa. But my whole point is, man, if Justin Tafa is going to be your third featured fight on a main card, you already lost out on a card. That just proves me already how bad your card is. And that's no hate to Justin Tafa, but I've already done a video talking about how terrible this heavyweight division is outside of Tom Aspinall and John Jones, man. It's terrible. Nobody wants to see any of them fight anymore. And yes, like I said, he got a cool knockout this week. Cool, but why isn't that on the prelims? Why isn't that on the early prelims? It's always got to be on the main card, man. I hate it. And when it came to UFC 312, I haven't been shy at all to say that I've hated this fight card for a while now. And like I said, I almost didn't even watch it. But of course, the first fight on the night comes out 13-second knockout. You're like, holy shit. Okay, this fight card's amazing. And then, of course, 9 out of the next 11 go to decision. And you're sitting here wondering why you stayed up this long. Only 3 finishes on the night. Like I said, shouts out to Jake Matthews, had a decent night. It looked like good old Jimmy Crute was about to have a solid night. And of course, that gets into a snooze fest. And he fumbles the bag. And Alexander Tapura, shouts out to him. You thought he was going to come out here and look amazing and take on the Tapura name. But at the end of the day, he had a great first round, but just a lackluster. Just like me, I don't think he's that good. All the hype, it's always a champion brother hyping up their brothers, because they're humble. And it's always us buying into it. So I don't know. All in all, man, UFC 312, I guess, wasn't the worst. I didn't have a favorite on the card, so I guess it makes it easier to watch. But also at the same time, this is probably the first card since 2007, 2008 that I haven't cared about a fight at all. I did literally no care whatsoever. I didn't care what happened in the main event. I didn't care what happened in any of the fights. Outside, I guess I wanted just a clear-cut winner for Dricus versus Sean Strickland, just so we're not bored and keeping the division held up. But all in all, you guys let me know what y'all think. And I'm about to go to bed. Man, it's 120, 130, something like that. So, as always, your boy, Steven Moustaris. Let's go. Let's go, baby.